I gotta say, it's kind of cool to see patch notes for WoW Classic. I'm used to seeing them when there's any kind of update for the latest retail version of WoW. And although these aren't very long patch notes, there are a few updates in them that I want to cover in this video. So let's get started on the WoW Classic version 1.13.4 patch notes. First, let's start with two new features being added, Arathi Basin and Battlegrounds Holidays. So Kaivax released these patch notes in an official post on the Blizzard forums, and here's what he had to say about Arathi Basin. Join the League of Arather, or the Forsaken Defilers, as they battle for precious resources. Pitting 15 members of each faction against each other, the race is on to be the first 2,000 resources, capturing strategic landmarks around the basin to increase your team's gain and cripple the enemy. There's never been a better time to join the war. Arathi Basin will unlock at 3 o'clock p.m. Pacific Time, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, on Wednesday, March 11th, which, by the time this video is out, should already be released. So I'll ask, what are your first impressions of AB so far? The first thing that comes to mind for me, since I haven't played AB in forever, it's going to be interesting for me to see the original vanilla version of Arathi Basin, as it was back in the day at least, before a lot of changes were made to it. I know they've reduced the amount of time it takes to capture a flag in current retail WoW. I think they've also reduced the resources from 2,000 to 1,500, just to reduce the length of each game. So I'm excited to see the old version of AB as it was in its original state. Okay, moving on to Battlegrounds Holidays. Most weeks, Warsong Gulch, Alterac Valley, and Arathi Basin now enjoy holidays that begin on Thursday night at midnight and continue until Tuesday morning. I'm guessing these correspond with realm times, by the way. But either way, that's a long holiday, isn't it? During a holiday, emissaries from that battleground will be found in the major cities, and honor faction rewards for performing objectives in that battleground are increased. So you basically get more reputation and honor for doing a bonus battleground whenever it is the current weekend of the bonus holiday battleground. So this is particularly of interest of people who are trying to rank up, obviously, in the PvP ranking system, but also for people who are maybe trying to grind some reputation rewards as well. Those people will be more inclined to queue up for the Battleground holiday of the weekend. So keep an eye out for that. Don't forget to check out the rewards available from each Battleground faction, and if there's something that you would like to strive for or aim for, definitely queue up for the Battleground when it is Battleground weekend. That'll definitely speed up the process a little bit. I'm curious to see how this will affect queue times, because I know right now Alliance don't really have super long queues, and Horde do. So it'll be interesting to see if this changes things up a bit. Okay, and now moving on to the bug fixes and updates. Here's the first bug fix. There is now a warning dialogue when players enter a raid that has an active raid lockout, giving players the chance to avoid accidental raid saves. I know this was a pre-existing issue where players would accidentally get locked into raids that were already cleared, essentially missing out on a week's worth of raiding and loot. So it is nice to see that that's been fixed. It kind of really sucked when that would happen to somebody, especially if they're looking forward to raiding all week, they get invited to a raid group, they enter the instance, and it's completely cleared and they get locked into it. Really sucks. So again, glad to see it's been fixed. Okay, the next thing is harvesting gathering nodes that are on zone boundaries should now be more reliable. So I never really got to experience this firsthand, but what I'm guessing it is it might be about some of the nodes that appear on your minimap that are either unreachable or perhaps disappear when you cross over a zone line. So yeah, I'm guessing that these nodes will be a little bit more accessible than they previously were. Next, many particle effects and transparency effects now display more accurately. For example, Thunder Fury, Blessed Blade of the Windseeker, will now appear brighter than before. Same with Perdition's Blade, that will also appear brighter than before. Well, that's pretty cool. Those are two pretty awesome looking weapons to begin with. Oh wait, what does this next line say? Particle effects on the Warlock and Paladin class mounts will be less pronounced than before.
No, God! No, God, please, no! 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 No!
As a paladin who loves the particle effect from my epic mount, Yeah, I don't agree with that change. Okay, next is fixed an issue that could cause Nefarian to momentarily fly away after revealing his true form at the beginning of Phase 2 of his encounter. So this is a good thing to note of. I remember this happened to my raid group one of the first times we entered BWL, and we thought the encounter was bugged, and then he reappeared a few seconds later, so good to see that that has been clarified and fixed. And finally, players who are honor list targets are now immune to mind control. So this is an interesting change to me. I wonder if this was becoming a bit of a big issue. Does anybody know, was this added in vanilla also, or was it more of a change that they just kind of saw was becoming an issue and they wanted to implement that into the game? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, and then finally, onto a few class updates. Let's start with Hunter. Player-controlled pets now move in a straight line to their target when commanded to attack, rather than defaulting to behind the target. So this will hopefully help prevent hunter pets from accidentally pulling unnecessary mobs due to the pathing of their command to attack. Like the post says, the pets would kind of go on this weird path so that they could get behind the target, but they kind of fixed it so that it's just a straight line to the target instead. So I don't think this is going to completely prevent hunter pets from pulling unwanted mobs in the future, but I think it will help. I mean, has anything ever stopped hunter pets from aggroing unwanted mobs? Next is Shaman. Mana Tide Totem now reliably delivers a 4th tick of Mana Tide. So I haven't really played Horde much in Classic, but I would certainly be pissed if my Mana Tide Totem wasn't working as intended. So I'm glad to hear that this has been resolved, and I'm sure shamans around the world are rejoicing as well. And finally, Warlock. Blood Pact is no longer recast when Amplify Curse is used or Nightfall procs. So it sounds like this was some kind of imp bug, but has also been resolved for Warlocks. And that's the WoW Classic version 1.13.4 patch notes. I hope you guys enjoyed this brief synopsis. I plan to continue doing more update videos like this in the future, so be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel to show some support. You could also follow me on all of my socials, which are linked in the description below this video. I also have a podcast that I conduct on a weekly basis with the one and only Pasta, so be sure to check that out as well, linked below. It's called WARCRAFT BREW. You can check out my live stream over on Twitch if you want to check out some live gaming action. I've recently gotten into the Death Equals Delete hardcore challenge mode, which was spearheaded by Kargaz and all the guys over at ClassicWoW.live, so shout out to them for creating a really cool community event. I think there's going to be a tournament coming up soon. I don't know the details, but ClassicWoW.live I'm sure has all of the information, so definitely check that out. And finally, thank you again for watching, and I hope to see you very soon. Keep in touch.